What's a harmless habit that people don't realize is actually damaging in the long run? The opposite of negative self-talk isn't always positive self-talk. Sometimes it's just choosing not to moralize it. I did that wrong and will do it differently next time is worlds away from I did that wrong and I'm a bad person because of it. Educating yourself can make a world of difference. There's a lot of research, but here's a relatively recent study illustrating how negative self-talk might help performance in the short term, but the second link shows how it will actually decrease cognitive function in the brain over time. If you find yourself feeling ashamed because you're lazy, get checked for ADHD. If I can do it, I should, or I'm a bump. Sounds like textbook executive dysfunction. A wise woman once said, if you're wondering whether you have executive dysfunction or are just lazy, ask yourself whether you feel ashamed for not doing it. A lazy person feels good when they don't do something they should. Care. Ending negative self-talk isn't not about not thinking negatively. It's about choosing what we do when those thoughts come. I realize there's a lot of baggage in making a biblical reference, but there is some really interesting truth in the idea of taking every thought captive and making it obedient to God. If I haven't lost you yet, the point here is this. We cannot directly control our thoughts. No one can. All we can do is learn to recognize them and choose what to do with them when they come. What's really interesting about this, though, is that the act of choosing how to categorize thoughts can eventually shape the kind of thoughts we have with time. It's like James Clear says in Atomic Habits. We make a vote for the person we are becoming with every action decision. Change doesn't happen overnight, but we can choose to change the way we vote, and with time, we can see greater change than we ever might have expected. Negative self-talk is not effective for learning, even if it feels like it. Daniel Kahneman's research around regression toward the mean in Thinking Fast and Slow tells it all. To begin, we must acknowledge there is endless research showing that we learn more from positive reinforcement than negative feedback. With that in mind, many people realize this pattern. If I yell at myself for doing poorly, I get better. If I praise myself for doing well, I get worse. This is, in fact, true in most cases, but it becomes obvious when we think about it. In both cases, the performance was an exception. If a student typically gets a B and they get a C, it's likely that they will do better next time whether you reprimand them or not, because they typically get Bs. The same is true in reverse. An exceptional result, whether good or bad, is by definition an exception. This means that, regardless of feedback, the next result will likely regress toward the mean or be closer to average. All that to say, when we beat ourselves up for poor performance, we will typically do better the next time. If we encourage ourselves and celebrate an exceptional success, we'll likely be less successful the next time. The change needs to come in our acknowledgement of this principle and our treatment of ourselves as a result. When we fail, we tell ourselves, this was out of character and I will do better next time. And when we succeed, we should embrace it and realize we may not achieve this much next time, but it's a step in the right direction, and enough of these successes will eventually improve the bottom line. I know this is a lot, and it's likely that no one will read it, but if you do, please let me know. I've personally been on a journey with this topic for a few years, and these ideas were game changers for me. Wishing everyone the best. Please don't be too hard on yourselves. Your inner child doesn't deserve it, and you deserve better.